How many of you have played with one of these before? Okay, where you've got you got the balls and you swing the balls and they bounce into each other, and the bouncing causes the balls that they're connected to, that they're laying up against, to react in some way. Now, this is in physics. This might be called local realism, which in our world, our Newtonian world, describes the world that we're around. However, in a quantum world where the objects, the particles that make up atoms live, this goes away, where those particles can behave in a way that not just affects the particle that's next to it, but that affects a particle that is a foot away, or a mile away, or 100 miles away. Now, this is called the quantum realm, where this sort of thing is happening, and the concept is quantum entanglement, that particles can be connected to each other in some space that isn't space at all, and they're entangled so that they affect each other. Now, there is a paper that was written by Olson and Ralph, where they have worked out the mathematics that suggests that perhaps this entanglement is not just across space, but is across time. That the behavior of one of these quantum particles can affect another quantum particle that is not just in another place, but is in another time. And they're talking about the possibilities of using this, since this can mathematically be predicted, of using this knowledge and this behavior of subatomic particles to create computers that can compute unimaginably fast, because in this space time doesn't really seem to exist in the same way that it does to us, and can communicate across vast amounts of space circuitry, because space doesn't exist. Okay? Is this blowing your mind? Well, the reason that I kick off with this is so I can tell y'all that I didn't know about this yesterday. This is something I didn't know yesterday, and I always start my presentations just like that, by sharing something that I didn't know yesterday, because the most important thing that I want y'all to know about me in the context of what I'm going to be talking about today is that I'm a learner, and I strive to be a master learner. And I think that as we as educators continue to rethink education in a time of rapid change, to rethink what it means to be educated in a time of rapid change, to redefine the classroom of the 21st century, to redefine the 21st century teacher, I don't think that we can do better than to say that the 21st century teacher must be a master learner, must be willing to get up in front of class and say, I don't know the answer to that question, but I'm going to teach myself the answer to that question tomorrow. Or I don't know the answer to that question. How do you think we might go about finding the answer to that question? Or how did you get your web page to look like? That is so cool. Would you show me? I could get my classroom website to do that. That would be so cool. Show me how you did that. That it's about being a learner. Just in case y'all couldn't tell, I'm not from around here. I am from Raleigh, North Carolina, where I'm actually one of the only people in Raleigh who talks like me. It's kind of like Canada. We're literally the only family in our neighborhood who is from North Carolina. So it's kind of a strange place to be. But what I'm going to be talking about today is a story. I'm going to be trying to build a kind of a larger context. At least this morning, I'm building a larger context for what you've heard, what Dennis talked about earlier, and I think what Penny is going to be talking about from our conversations in the car this morning. What she's going to be talking about later on this morning. A bigger context that is about a story. I mean, it's kind of one of the things that we were talking about in the table over here, is that you've got the logic. I mean, the logic is necessary, but what perhaps is sometimes missing is the story that's on the other side of that logic, that you use the logic in order to accomplish that story. Being a teacher, I've got handouts for you. Being a digital kind of guy, my handouts are online. My handouts are at this URL right here, davidwarlick.com/handouts. How many of you know what that is right there? Okay, what is it?
You know the name of it, take a picture of it with your iPhone, that
right.
will take you to that.
It's called a QR code. I was keynoting a conference in Singapore several months ago, and as soon as this came up, about 350 smartphones suddenly shot up in the air, aimed at that code, and in about a half a minute they all had the online handouts loaded into their smartphones. Another way of sharing information.